Okay, so here we've got a 1997 Honda CR250. The 97 is the first year that there were aluminium frame, and so that's what this is, aluminium frame CR250. So still it's two-stroke engine, and probably a little bit like Marmite. You've got absolute steel frame lovers who just say they'll never ride aluminium frame bikes, and then personally I quite like an aluminium frame bike. I think generally they do handle well, and I don't know, I think it goes back to, so my first proper motocross bike, I rode on fields and stuff when I was a kid, and my mates had motocross bikes and this, that and the other, and then never did any racing or anything like that. And then when I was a teenager I got into road bikes, and then my first proper motocross bike was a 98 CR125, so very, very similar design to this, and that's probably why I kind of like the bike, really. So it came in on the last container, so quite a while ago, and it's been sat there. I had it running a while back. I'd offered it to a guy for sale. He didn't take me up on it, so it's been sat there, and I keep looking at it thinking, right, probably going to use that as my practice bike, and I've kind of done it at the minute, at this stage, that it would be a reasonable practice bike. So mechanically I'm confident that it's right. I haven't actually ridden it on a track at all. I'm going to take it up the road in a minute so you can see it being ridden and going through the gears and this, that and the other. But other than that, I haven't actually ridden it. But I'm sure it'll ride fine. I've serviced it. It's got fresh brake pads, front and back, changed sprockets. It's had an oil change. I've cleaned the carb. It's got fresh coolant, fresh gearbox oil. It's pretty much ready to go. Well, it is ready to go. It's ready to ride for definite. And it looks like a decent bike, and it's got some really nice bits on it as well. It's got fancy triple clamps, fancy bar risers which go with the triple clamps. It's got a nice pipe which had quite a sizable dent in it, which has been blown out. What other trim bits has it got on it? It's got a few other niceys, which I can't flip remember what they are now. I'm sure I will do. As we're going through this video. The only bad bit about it really is it's got a dent in the front rim. So it's got a bit of damage here, like a nick. It's obviously hit a rock or something quite hard, which is what's dented the rim. But other than that, the bike itself is really nice looking bike, and like I say, ready to ride. So let's have a close look at it, and then we'll get it fired up and run it down the road. Yeah, so there we go. So it's had some fresh graphics on. We've not changed all the plastics. It's still got the original rad scoops and mud guards. The rear mud guard probably should have changed, but there you go. I didn't realise until the graphics have been fitted to it that it was as scratched as it was. It's an FMF fatty, gold series, so it's the thicker gauge steel. It's the gold series. It's the fatty, so it should be a bit pipey. It's less of an enduro pipe, more of a motocross pipe. So it gives good volume, so for decent mid-range and top end. It's got IMS pegs, that's the other bit. It's got nice pro circuit billet linkage on there, which is a nice bit of kit. So yeah, it's got the fancy triple clamps as well, the Applied Racing billet triple clamps, which would have been a fair few £100 or dollars, as this is an American bike. It's got a skid plate because they probably would have ridden it in the desert. But it's again, it's a nice thing to have. It's going to protect your crankcases if there's any rocks. That's the dent to the front rim, so it's dented on both sides in the same place, and that's the only I think that's the worst bit about the bike, really. I've done fork seals, so the forks should be bang on and not leaking. Front brake's working, like I say, it's got fresh pads. Be able to see that from there, fresh pads. Camera's auto focusing, so I'm not sure how to get it to show you that in better detail. Fresh levers, or fresh clutch per actually. Fresh lever is a stock one. It's quite funny. I used to have a business called Black Art Tuning, and our logo was a sugar skull, so a slight different take on this design. And then the forks have been tuned by a company called Factory Black. So I've left all them bits on because I kind of like that. Bit of a memory for me. So yeah, so fresh chain and sprocket. It's gone back to the OEM sprocket sizes, so that should be fine. There's a slight nick in the seat. I may well take this seat to get it recovered if I've ridden it a couple of times. I've got a new cover that go on. That'll go on fine. Under here, the little brass insert into the tank was damaged, so I've had to do a bit of a creative bodge where I've removed the little brass insert, and then I've heated a nut up, and then I've pushed that in, so it's not gone all the way through to the tank or anything, but it's located in so it's nice and solid. And then I've drilled and tapped a bolt in there, so that it's not quite flush, but it's close to the tank, and then the fixing can go into that fine. So it's not a factory, and it is a slight bodge, but it's done the job, so it can be so the rad scoop can be affixed to it absolutely fine. So new chain rollers, new chain and sprockets. The rear wheel is in perfect condition. Fresh brake pads in the back. The rear silencer. It's got a little bit of damage to the end. I might have an end cap laying around, which if I do, I'll replace that. But can't promise that, to be fair. So there you go. She's looking good, and she's looking like she's ready to be taken to a practice track. So bit of winter training. I'll be obviously putting my bike up for sale as well. So if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, then it'll be the bike I'll be riding over winter, and I'll be quite happy to ride it. So gearbox check. It's in neutral at the minute. Down into first. Up into second. Third. Fourth. And fifth, which will be the top of the box. It is fifth. Down into fourth. Third. Second. And back up into neutral. There we go. Let's get it fired up. So a bit disappointed. I was gonna film it starting absolutely from dead cold, and I thought I'd set the camera going. It fired up first kick, and then I realised I hadn't actually set the camera going, so it's been run for a couple of seconds. We'll give it a little run up the road so you can see. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search Phoenix Motos.